Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Unprofessional Opinion. I am Richard.
And I'm Melody.
And this one is a little different. This is a lot different. What we're going to talk about today.
It wasn't fit for a lie.
No, it wasn't. It was not. And we had to do it this way. It was only the right way to do it. So, what we're talking about today is not foreign to anybody, but it is taboo. So basically, the things that you don't talk about, we want to talk about. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Without further ado, I mean, you want to introduce the topic?
Yeah. So literally, the definition of taboo is a social or religious custom prohibiting or forbidding discussion of a particular practice or forbidding association with a particular person, place, or thing. So you know, basically, what do you think is taboo?
Taboo, yeah. So, like, just to start it off, like, you know, some people think that sucking toes is just like out of it.
Yeah, that's taboo.
That's taboo.
Or even thinking about sucking toes or saying it is taboo. Or having a discussion about sex out loud is taboo.
So we wanted to start the conversation there.
I don't know. Where is your starting point?
My starting point.
Your baby.
This is my baby. Whew.
Tell them how we came up with the topic. That's how.
How did we come up with? I know we're in the bathtub. We're doing our Wednesday.
Yeah, that's our thing. You guys might think that's taboo, but
it's not to us. Every Wednesday
we take a bath.
We take a bath, and we go, and you know, it kind of gets us our creative juices going.
Yeah.
You know, it's we in there. We like just debrief each other on how we're feeling.
You're naked, so all your inhibitions are let go of. You can't hide anything from one another.
Yeah.
So we have really candid conversations in the bathtub.
Yeah, we do. So it started there, and I was just like, oh, we should really talk about it. Plus, a lot of our friends like, yo, you guys don't touch on sex whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to touch on it, but I want it to be appropriate. And then I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be too like prudish about it.
Yeah.
So we doing it here. But it does start with, and also we got to the part where we were talking about sex, and then it got to talking about how, you know, it might be cliche that black women don't go down on men, or black men don't go down on women.
But it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yes, all day long. All these beards around here in this area, nah. But it is happening, and it was. I remember growing up, you know, it was like, I know in my household, my dad wasn't like prudish or anything. Like I mean, it's not like he encouraged that you know, you go down, but he was like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, it happens. I mean, at a young age, you know, he would tell me stuff like that. So it didn't bother me. As I got older, I was kind of used to the theory. I was used to the action. I didn't do it to everybody, you know, but I didn't.
Well,
do it at all.
Statistically, 50 to 70% of women don't have an orgasm through intercourse alone. So that means that there's either going to be you're going to have to use your hands or your mouth or a toy in order to please a lot of women sexually. Well, it doesn't mean that they're not pleased sexually, but because an orgasm and being pleased as a woman is two different things. You can be pleased, you can enjoy the feeling of sex, but that doesn't mean that you have the big O, which everybody is trying to reach. Whereas 95% of men climax each time they have intercourse. So a lot of times women they can go and finish cleaning up the house afterwards because they're not having.
So have you ever cleaned up the house afterwards?
No, because I'm not one of those 50 to 70% of women.
So is it easy for you?
I wouldn't say it's easy for me. It's easy for you to please me because we have conversations and we talk. Nothing is taboo to us, and it took time for us to get to this, but things aren't taboo. We know what each other likes. We talk each other through things. Nothing is off limits. Like, if you're not being pleased by your partner, 9 times out of 10, it's because you're not saying what you need to say in order for your partner to please you. Or maybe you just don't listen. You know, it's one of the two. But 9 times out of 10 is usually because you're not saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you somebody got to be open.
Yeah.
Somebody got to be open at the church. Because I know there was a time where we were just real vanilla with everything.
But that's because we were just so...
We're kids.
We were so inexperienced.
Yeah, we between the both of us, we just didn't have those relationships outside of us. And we got, with us, it was so vanilla. But then, I'm a Scorpio.
So it's me.
So I was studying, man. I was like, dude, I want to try something different, and I would try. I heard, I can't think of her name, but she was like the sex therapist, and she was like, you know, the penis should just lie in the vaginal canal, and just the woman should pulsate upon it until she feels she's ready for extreme penetration or whatever, what have you. And I did that once, and then and she like it opened up a door. It's like, what else do you know? You know what I mean? She was like, what are you doing? You know, people talk about the side booty.
Yeah.
That was different for us. That side booty thing. It was like it was a part. It was 2 parts of that. It was the vagina, you know, the penis and the vagina, the vaginal canal.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, and we're like literally making out, and then once she was ready to go, you know, it was one of the things that we worked on, and then. And
that happened because of being pregnant. And
yeah, that's how I started.
To go around.
I don't know why your babies are so big in your stomach. So.
And they just sit right there, and they kick, so it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, that we ain't having no more, so that we won't have that problem ever again. But
pull-out game is crazy right now, B.
Like we literally got to the point where it's like, we just really, you have to get to the point where you don't give a shit. Like, you don't give a shit what other people think. You don't give a shit what is taboo. You don't care how you might look. You stop putting yourself in a box.
Well, because you're with that person.
Yeah, because you're with the right person. But still, you can be with the right person and still care way too much about what is taboo. Because sometimes those thoughts that you were taught when you were younger, really, from people that are not even acting in those ways, really stick with you. I know, as me growing up as a black woman, it's like, you can't be too sexual. If you walk like that, you hide. If you talk like that, you vanish. If you singing that song too hard, who you in love with? And I literally listened to the radio, so I knew every song, and come to find out, half the songs I was singing was so inappropriate. But it was like all these things that are put on you as a young girl, like you're not even a woman yet. But then when you get your period, it's like even it gets even worse. Like you're marked for pregnancy, and now every little thing you do, you wear your hair the same way you wore when you was before you got your period. Oh, that's too grown, you can't wear that. Or you can't wear them shorts no more. Wow, I've always wore shorts like this. They too short. You giving off the wrong signal. So then you go into your relationship, and you're like, but you're supposed to be approved, but at the same time, those same women that are telling you to be prudish are also telling you that if you don't please your man, somebody else will. You better, even if you tired, you better give your man what he wants, because somebody else will. So you have so much conflict going on in your head. You're like, okay, well, I need to be free, but at the same time, I need to be a nun. So where's the common ground? Where's the common ground? So you really just have to let it go, and you know what? Just think, you gotta really reprogram yourself. Like, I really wish at 16 years old, instead of just being so scared to be like having those feelings that I had, like I would daydream about sex and I wasn't having it. I would think about certain things. I wish I would have masturbated. I wish I would have known like the things that I liked. I wish I would have like just been more free about expressing how I felt sexually because it took me so long to even enjoy sex.
I think that was the difference because even my mom would ask me, she's like, what are you doing? Like, I was discreet about all my stuff. I'm still, I mean, other than what we're doing now, I'm very discreet about what we do. Up until now, I've gotten to the point, even like our public display of affection.
Yeah,
it's changed.
Totally different.
I don't care. Like, I used to be like, because she was uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it was still very, like, behind closed door, it was like like mawing each other's face off.
Yeah, but now I'm
in
like,
in front of my family, I'm like, I was always
I'm
told,
grabbing a handful of ass in front of you. I don't care.
I was always told that wasn't, black people don't do that.
Yeah, we do.
don't do that.
Yeah, we
Why
do.
not?
Yeah, we do.
Why not?
And you know what? It's good for the kids because the kids understand. Not grabbing the ass, but I'm just saying, just affection and because
Showing
it's therapeutic.
And enjoy each other.
Even just last night, you know, we slept very close to each other last night. Just the touch. You know, we talked about that.
And we woke up in such a good
mood. Because it was just like, we were just our minds were wandering in the common space, and we felt good.
Yeah.
You know, because
it gets monotonous. Like, we're in the house day after day.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the same shit every day, and then most of us are enclosed with our kids throughout the day. So you really need to know how to have that separation between the kids. And this is my man. Like, and I'm a woman at the end of the day. I'm a mom, but I'm a woman first. So let me make sure that I'm being pleased and I'm pleasing my man. Yeah. And in return, we're happy. Things that you don't indulge in because it's taboo.
Ooh, that I don't indulge in?
Mm-hmm. Or you did it.
That I didn't do?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, with women? Because I ain't exploring nowhere else. So, I mean, I guess
things that held you back. Like, I think you basically talked about that. Like, being affectionate with me.
Early, that was affectionate. But early on, like, the things that just... Like, I had girlfriends, but I didn't understand. I always wanted that element where I can... Because I didn't have that teenage love thing. I didn't have that. You know, it wasn't that I was a late bloomer. I had a strict dad. Yeah,
exactly.
So it was like, you know, I didn't have that teenage life. I couldn't go out, and he wasn't giving me money to go hang out with a girl. I remember, I went on like a pseudo date. It was like you know, I met this girl at the movies, and my dad dropped me off. And only reason why he let me go is because we had other friends that were going. Mm-hmm. And I was...
It's good to see your dad was an equal opportunity. Like, he didn't just have one roof for you and one roof for your sister.
No.
It seemed like your dad was like, look, nobody's getting nothing.
Nobody's getting nothing but me in this household. So I remember going out, and I went there, but I was so awkward. I didn't... You know, I held back a lot because I didn't know what to say there. Mm-hmm. It was like I knew how to open up a door, and I was like, "Well, do you want popcorn?"
Yes.
Because I didn't know, I had all these raging hormones going. I remember, and then I got home and I talked to her on the phone, and she's like, "You're talking so much right now. You know, you didn't say anything when you was in front of me." And I'm thinking to myself, God, I gotta be myself more often. You know, I gotta figure out what's me. I got to figure out me, and I think, you know, we talk about that. So I held back a lot of it. I held back for myself, especially when I met you. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to hide myself, but I held my thoughts, things that I wanted to do, and I think we just grew and explored. Yeah. I held back my true feeling about. I wasn't, you know, I'm not a butt eater. So that's always going to be held back. It's not going to happen.
And that's quite alright.
Yeah, I'm just not. It's just not happening. Literally. So for me, it was like, you know, I'm not going to do that. That's my limit. Mm-hmm. That's my limit. But you know, other than that, I do massages. Listen, I explore a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what we do right now may not be what we're into next month. And that's okay. Like, you don't stop being so routine. It is okay to think outside of your box and do things with one another. Like, as long as both of y'all are in agreement with it and it's something that y'all both enjoy, why not?
Yeah, I think the one thing though, I always people the male fantasy is having two women at one time, right? All like, I'll have two women at one time. It would be great. But we fail to realize you can't handle the one that you have. Like you really like.
Yeah, 50,
if you really pay attention,
50 to 70% are not orgasm.
Yeah, you pay attention to your woman, and you putting in all that work to please her, to the point where she's waking up and making you egg and cheese sandwiches with turkey bacon, or she going the extra mile for you. Give her a few orgasms. I guarantee you gonna get all that love.
Yeah,
cause she's motivated. Like, woo. I remember coming home. And I would tell, like, me and Mel always had this thing where, once it was Friday, it was like that's Friday our day.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was rough all week, but Friday come, that's our day.
How was your day? I don't care.
I don't care. You know what? And I'm a figure it out, and you gonna get yours, and I'm gonna get mine. And we wake up Saturday morning, and we were like, damn, what happened last night? We wake up with hills on the floor, and like, you swear we went out.
And then Sunday brunch was the same thing over and over again. So
yeah,
it was that was our thing. But I would say for me, one of the things I felt like held me back is the fact, especially with me being the oldest, it was like I always had this dilemma of like, I'm an older sister, I'm a child, I'm a mother, I'm a Christian, but also I like to fuck. What is the problem with that? Like, why? And I would feel so conflicted. I would feel like I would have to hide the fact that I'm a woman, and as crass as that might sound, I enjoy having sex with my love right here. Why is there a problem with that? But as a woman, a black woman, you cannot be all of that. You have to be a mother, and you have to make sure that you're in a sister and a daughter. You gotta make sure you're not a whore. But the so-called whore is also a daughter, maybe a mother, somebody's sister. So somebody is doing it. And chances are your sister, your daughter, your mother is the so-called whore to somebody else. Because that just saying that it's crazy to me. Like, why are you putting people in a box to say that they this way or that way? Because they out there getting pleased the way that they want to be pleased. What is wrong with that? And to me, that is taboo. It is nothing wrong with being pleased. Stop letting people make you think that it is disgusting. It's something wrong with you. It's inappropriate. Don't talk to her. She this way. She could be the person that saved your life. But you putting all these labels on this woman because she having orgasms and your ignorant mad ass ain't getting one. She could be giving you the ingredients and telling you how to please your man and please yourself,
because she pleased him.
Exactly. So because she pleased her. Exactly. But stop putting yourself. It's not really each other, because really, when you're judging somebody, you're really judging yourself. So
yeah.
So stop putting yourself in these boxes. Like, we are adults.
Mm-hmm.
We are consenting. As long as it's something that you consent to and it's something you enjoy doing, and everybody's of legal age, go for it.
Yeah.
And nobody's getting their feelings hurt. Don't go for it and you endangering yourself of getting shot. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But go for it.
Yeah. It is a extreme balance, and I think we grew up that way. I was talking to one of the things, like public sex. Mm-hmm. I never struggled with that. If it happened, it happened.
Shards are exhibitionists.
I was like, yeah, I think so. I want to think so.
I kind of am too. Yeah.
Yeah,
we have a little goal.
We do. We do have a goal. We have a.
We try to find spots.
Yeah. So don't invite us to your house.
We won't mess up your sheets.
No, we won't have time to do that. So, yeah, but honestly, yeah, I want to be, I think I've said this before, I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, I want to have that uncomfortable conversation. This is where we're starting this conversation. This is part 1. We will have guests for this. So this is just our starters, and coming up next, we will have our subject experts. No, I don't know if they are yet. I don't know if they are.
I hope so.
We don't know. We don't know, but we will have them coming up next, and
they experts at making children.
Oh yeah, they can definitely make children. There's no doubt about that.
Keeping the romance alive.
There's no doubt about that. So we'll get them on, and yeah, we'll continue this conversation again, part 1, and enjoy it. You know, and please, you know, write comments or hit us up on Instagram.
On Patreon, you can like and subscribe. I mean, on Patreon, you can follow us, and you can also have access to all of our content.
Yes, live feed.
Live feed
feed on there.
Polls. You can ask us questions. Yep. Any of your questions that you have privately, you can ask us, and we will answer.
Yes, we will.
On YouTube, find us at Shar and Mel's Unprofessional Opinion.
Yeah,
like this is a good conversation starter. But we would love to keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
Hope we didn't offend you. If we did,
come back.
Yes.
We'll offend you again next week.
Grow the fuck up.
All right. Coming up next, our guest. Thank you. So it's hard for me to introduce, so I'll let my wife do it.
Okay. So some people might think that we're related, but that it may not be. You know, it depends on what your definition of family is. We got the same mom and we got the same dad, but that don't mean So, I figured if we're gonna talk about taboo, we should get some experts in the house. So we got my my lovely sister Candace and my brother-in-law Lawrence. And they have 5 children. So I feel like, you know, they need to teach a class on what's taboo and navigating uncomfortable sex conversation or touching and trying to keep the romance alive with 5 children.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So, without further ado, we have Larry and Candace. Welcome. So, we started this conversation about taboo, and we was like, well, let's have questions to start out with.
Yeah. We don't have no questions yet.
Eventually we will.
But we probably end up having some questions. So we'll wait for y'all questions, and then we'll end up having some questions.
Well, because my questions are way out. So, and I started, you know, talking. So it's like, I scratched the surface.
Yeah. Give them a question that's going to make them loosen up a little bit.
Like what?
All right. So, how do you feel about swinging?
Whoa.
And not necessarily for your household, but just how do you feel about it in general?
You ask me. I think that swinging is people's own opinions. Mm-hmm. You want to swing, but personally, myself, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be uncomfortable in your household if you was a swinger. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. I saw a lot of movies with the swinging and stuff.
A lot of movies?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
All right.
Yeah, swinging just screams STDs. Now, I mean, it just screams STDs, a whole bunch of sweat, just ill. It just, nothing about that just seemed exciting.
Okay, that's good to know.
That's good. So, like me and Mel, we got to this part where we're like, you know, we love each other's dirty drawers, or like, you know, the cliche of drinking your bath water, right? I was like, no, I did that before. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I drunk your bath water before. You know what I mean? So she's like, why would you do that? I was like, I just really want this. I mean, it tastes like soap. You know? Yeah, like, but I just did it. You know, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't even like a half a shot, but I did it. So would you guys do that?
I can say I probably would. I'm a creep. So I think that I would. I think so.
I thought it was interesting. She don't believe me, but I told her I'll do it again. It's nothing. It's just water.
So getting into a what are some things that you don't indulge in because it's taboo?
Personally, I don't indulge in being like affectionate in front of people. I don't want nobody to feel as though they're uncomfortable because of my affectionateness, because I take it overboard sometimes, and probably end up leaving wherever we at. But it's just affectionate part in front of people. I'd rather be behind closed doors than be in front of everybody.
And why do you think that you feel that way?
Because my affection level is beyond, so I can really be affectionate how I want to be behind closed doors and not in front of people. That's really how I feel as far as the taboo part of being affectionate.
So it's just scratching the surface then, because we just said that yesterday. Like, we for so long we've been hiding. Like, I'm not gonna touch you in front of your family because I don't want to. I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I really don't care. Like, you know what? If you feel that's unusual, I don't know what to tell you. Because I got uncles and my aunts. Oh my God, mine.
Yeah, his aunt is super affectionate.
But I think eventually one day.
If that's what you are.
Yeah, but one day it's gonna. Because we were just like that. Like, we're not gonna.
Vacations, that's different.
Yeah, of course.
When you out by yourself on the.
Okay, so speaking of vacation, public sex is that like on the table?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And do you feel the same way? Why don't you indulge in?
I don't indulge. Mine is a little bit different. Like, I don't indulge because I'm more on the family end, but I'm more on the kids end as well. Like, I'm more like real reserved because of the kids. Because I didn't see that as a child. Like, so because I didn't see it as a kid, and everything was like hidden, it's foreign to me. So I never seen my parents be affectionate. And then my grandparents was never affectionate. Like, I seen my grandfather buy my grandmother flowers, but I never seen him kiss her. I never seen him hug her. So to hug my husband, and then when I do it, the kids be like, "What are you doing?" And the baby, like, I give her a hug, I'll give him a kiss, and she's literally like pushing my face off, like, this is foreign, like, what are you guys doing? So we look at each other like, okay, and then you hear it, and you're like, you hear people say, you don't want your kids to be overly sexual because they watching their parents do. So you hear people say it, so you like, you know what, I'm gonna just keep it behind closed doors because I don't want my kids to be exposed to certain stuff. So it's me, like, I'm trying to set an example for my kids. So it's my kids and my family. That's why I'm like overly indulgent on affection towards my husband. That's why I don't do it.
That's interesting.
It is, and in some ways it's crazy how people can try to make being affectionate towards your significant other dirty.
Right.
Like, sex is not dirty, and you should teach your kids that sex isn't dirty. And quite honestly, your kids are going to explore their bodies whether they see y'all touching on each other or kissing on each other. That's normal. Honestly, you don't want to encourage it because it's weird, but at the same time, you don't want to hide it because then you don't want them to be closet freaks like us. You right, right, scared to be yourself. Like, and you don't want them to. Earlier, before y'all got here, I was talking about how Black women are put into this box where it's like you have to be the church mom, you're a sister, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a granddaughter. So you can't be a whore. But the so-called whore is also a mother, a sister, a daughter, a granddaughter. So what make, like, if it's okay for them to do it, how come it's not okay for us to do it? And why are they whores?
Right.
It just doesn't. It's like they put you in this box, and then at the same time they're telling you, well, they don't tell you how to do it because you're not supposed to do any of these things. But when you get married, it's like, if you don't please your husband, somebody else will. Exactly. So, like, but I don't know how, because you just told me that I couldn't even do anything sexually. I can't even want sex. I can't even ask for birth control because that means I want to have sex. No, it just means I want birth control.
Right. Yeah. So it's so many stipulations when you married. It's just like older people got so much to say about the way you should handle things when you marry. It's
Everything.
everything.
And they got a whole life that we don't even know nothing about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They did the chains and whips way before. They discovered the strip pole. You know what I mean? But I think at the same time, like you said, it should be a healthy balance.
Mm-hmm.
And like me and her discussed, like, you know, I have a son that's old enough. Like, I think this is the age where he's gonna start like dating.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he's gonna learn all those weird, and they're learning faster because the internet is so
And it's the wrong thing.
It's the wrong thing, and it's speeding them up. You know, like porn itself. You know, it's nowhere near the porn I watch. You know what I mean? I'm a little classic with mine, like Vanessa Del Rio. You know, she was amazing, but I watched that. You know what I mean? And then I transferred into like the Pinkies of the world, right? But I never took that as like gospel. I was like, it can't be that way. You know what I mean? Because when I'm talking to girls, they're not like, hey, let's go, you know, ain't that easy. So in my head, I'm like...
You never walked in on two girls pleasuring each other?
I wish. I wish. I'd be like, what's going on?
Happen?
No. Hell, I wish. That would be awesome. But no, it don't happen that way. So I tell my, you know, we had a conversation that scared my son. He was like, you know, he asked his mom. No, I think you asked him.
Yeah.
And he was running from me. He went upstairs to his room. He closed his door because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you all the game. I'm going to tell you everything because I'd rather me tell you than somebody else that's going to give you probably like a half of what's true and then something fictitious, you know, thing that's in their head that they got screwed up. You know what I mean? Like my mom, when I was 16, gave me a book. This is Boys and Sex. And I was like, oh, why? You know what I mean? I was like, why? And then I made up something in my head. She was like, you been reading the book? I'm like, yeah, I've been reading it. She's like, well, what's your favorite chapter? I was like, chapter 6. And it just, so she was like, oh, get the book. So I get the book. And you know what? Chapter 6 is masturbation. So I'm like, oh.
Set yourself up.
Yeah, I set myself up big time. I'm like, oh my God. Like, why did I do that? But, you know, I don't want it to be awkward.
Yeah.
It is something that's normal, especially when you get married. It is something that is. It happens. It's gonna happen. It's
and then hopefully it's one of the best parts of your relationship.
I don't know. I like cuddling. Cuddling is better than
cuddling. You know, it makes it improves your life.
I'm totally. By definition, what does taboo mean to you? By definition.
To me, taboo is things that I avoid.
Okay.
Because like my grandma raised me different, and it's just by me being uncomfortable with certain situations. Basically, I don't want to deal with the karma of the taboo. You know, so it's just things basically.
So Zev, she was like, you know what? Let's just start with. You're not supposed to kiss a girl on her mouth. You know.
Yeah.
By this age, you know, I think it does more harm than help. You know what I mean? Because
you should be able to set your own limits.
Yeah, like I think we were at our wedding and it was like awkward. And they were like, "Give her a kiss." I'm like, "But I've been told."
Yeah, right.
You know,
I tell my son all the time, you can kiss if you want to, just be careful.
Yeah, you know,
it's you, it's what you want to do.
it was it was awkward. Like my first kiss was super awkward. So I was like, I don't know, and she smelled like old Bubblicious, you know. It was just that. I was like, oh God, like you couldn't put a fresh piece in. You know what I mean? You knew this was coming.
Oh, man.
But yeah, for taboo, we married each other for the same reason, because our taboo is the same thing. Our beliefs and what we grew up knowing, like we pretty much the same thing. Our beliefs, our cultures, and that's pretty much what we was taught. Like
It's not, and it happens. I mean, I think our sexual nature is in line.
Yeah, it's in line. It's been behind closed doors, and now it's like we don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
But I think
we'll get to that point where we're just open and freely, and we got some growing to do, because we about to be 4 years into our marriage, and we're gonna get to y'all point. And I like that y'all are at this point, because y'all just see like it's just growth, and it's like, okay, you know what? Who cares?
So I think people are hypocrites when it comes to their sexual preference. I think
their view on
Their view
certain
on it?
people.
Yes.
Like, okay, well, she can do all that, and I love her for doing all that.
Next person's a whore for doing
but
that.
not you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You can't do that.
You need to go to church.
Yeah, and it's like,
You
you
are
know
not
what? Maybe,
supposed to be doing that.
yeah, maybe. I think we learned a lot watching. She's Gotta Have It too.
Yeah, because she had to have it.
She had to have it, and I think it spoke to me because I understood it from a whole different perspective. And she was like, "I'm in control of what's going on." I've been reading something about the feminist movement back in like 1840 something, where women couldn't even. They were like arguing with them about wearing like petticoats. You know what I mean? Taking off the corsets, and they're transitioning to just something so simple. Like they couldn't even speak or have their own opinion about what they wanted to do in life. Like
there's certain religions where women can't go into church with pants.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So to and here we are, 2020. We haven't evolved to just have those conversations. We're still uncomfortable with having a typical sex conversation amongst grown adults. Like we are way past our 20s. You know what I mean? And in your 20s, that's when you do most of the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
You take it back. Yeah.
You do, yeah. So it's like, why not have this conversation?
I mean, we were just
That have like discussing fantasies about it. Just
Right.
You don't need a visual. We're just having an adult conversation.
Exactly. Nobody's
Basic
comparing any body
stuff.
parts. Nobody's saying any of that. We're just saying
Not
that
only-
we're having fun.
Not only that, people learn from each other.
Exactly.
Like somebody might have they can be younger than you and still have way more experience
Right.
than or give you a tip about something or change your point of view about anything. We have to learn how to listen because it could change something. Me and her just got to a point where we actually listened to each other. Like it was because we've always had a very strong sexual attraction to each other. That's never changed. And it never, even I think when things got weird with us, it never changed because that was always there. She's like, "You just want to have sex with me?" I'm like, "Yes, yeah, of course I do."
Horn dog.
What? Yeah, what? I'm not understanding. That sex don't fix everything. I'm like, it is today. You know what I mean? Now go make the sandwich. But
that's our biggest problem. I keep telling him he the biggest argument now. I was like, everything is about sex, and he's like, no. When we met at 19 and 20, everything was about
Everything
sex.
was.
He said 5 kids later, we barely have sex, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's hard, and you got a
not.
a
I don't
1-year-old
care. I
in
like
the
my
bed
daughter.
with her. Like it's. I'm like, this
Well,
is
that's your first
difficult.
problem.
yeah.
You're gonna have to put her in somebody else's bed.
Yep.
Do what you do.
Say it all
Change
the
the
time.
sheets and bring her back
Say it all the time.
Man, we hit the basement.
wherever.
We hit the basement.
Yeah, bathrooms. Why are you guys in there? We're folding towels.
So we got to
Unveil those layers, like peel off those layers, like things that are taboo to you. You need to have those conversations because why are you nervous about sharing that with your spouse?
Right.
Like I said earlier today that when you're like for people that aren't having enjoyable sex with their partners, it's usually because of you, because you're not communicating what you need, and maybe you don't know what you need because you were told as a woman that if you touch yourself then that was wrong. But how the hell else are you gonna know what feels good? Because you have places in you as a woman that or certain areas that a man wouldn't be able to find unless you found it first and you tell him where to go.
That is
It's
bad.
ungodly.
Yeah, that to masturbate. So
Why would God put that there?
Right, so
That's cruel.
So
Why would-
I've never done that. So he was like, "What?" I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say."
He
Like,
asked me that too. He was he goes,
almost bought her a magic wand.
Speaking of that, we gotta share that post. What is it on the lady that passed out after she tried that? Oh my god, she passed out. They like drink water before and stretch plenty,
Oh man.
Amazon review.
and she didn't. She tore up, man.
Yes.
It was so good, but yeah,
This is a dope conversation.
yeah.
We definitely want to continue to do it more on this platform. We can have, more in-depth conversations, more uncomfortable conversations. For some people, we don't want to offend people, so we're going to do it on here.
Definitely.
sounds good.
Definitely. So, you got more questions, or did you
No, we pretty much touched
covered
on everything.
So
You guys are
listen,
very candid.
Thanks for having us. We'll be back definitely.
definitely,
This is awesome.
and we'll have more conversation like this. Is part 1, so
Part 2 is gonna be
part 2
interesting.
should be good. We have another couple coming in, so it should be fun. It should be fun. But again, this is Unprofessional Opinion. I'm Rashard.
And I'm Melody.
And she's X-rated today. I don't know what it is, but listen, this is Unprofessional Opinion. I thank you guys for listening, and come check out part 2. Thank you.
My word.